control systems, GNU Arch, Darks, all sorts of things, where there is no one definitive repository, at least at the technical level. They act more like peers. A change is added to this one. If other people like it, they'll add it to their repositories as well. And even though socially there may be one recognized as the official source repository, technically anybody could act independently and maintain their own. And if the general user community decides that, you know, Joe maintainer isn't so reliable anymore, we like this guy better, it's really easy to switch. So I'm sure a lot of these things, to some degree, have already been considered, if not done, in the realm of code distribution. A change set appears, you can sign it with a cryptographic key. That's easy enough. Add it to your repository. Other people's repositories can find out, oh, here's a new change set. It's been signed by this key. I trust that key. I'll pull it into my repository, and maybe I'll even automatically deploy it on my server farm. More likely my test server farm, before I've had a chance to look at it myself. But you know, in principle, it's possible. So that's pretty much my idea. Now shoot me down and let's make it better.
Have you seen the Firefox extension called Outfoxed?
Outfoxed? No,
Yeah.
I haven't.
It basically sets up like a rating system for websites where you can explicitly define another person as like your first level of friends or whatever, people you trust.
Sure.
And based on that, you can rate a site good or bad or whatever. You can pick, yeah, I want to see it even shows up on Google results. It'll show higher rated ones by people you know or people that they know.
Nice.
It's kind of the same thing you're talking about, at least for the user part of it.
Do you know where all that information gets stored?
It's all on their servers.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just some guy's idea that he did.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Even if the identity management is distributed with a public key infrastructure, if the information hosting is centralized, there is still some possibility for abuse there. Maybe something like Freenet could be more effective at preventing any sort of abuse at that level.
Also, I was wondering, would you rate each fact? How would you break that down? Would you rate like a whole statement about somebody, or would you break it apart and, you know, this person did this?
It would be complicated to break it all down. But I think the assertions, the approvals, the sign-offs would be more meaningful if they're applied to a small statement than they are to a bigger statement. But, of course, you could still apply them to statements at any level. I mean, technically there's no reason to enforce size of a statement that you can sign off on, I would think.
At what point then, you mentioned people, if they start signing off on inaccurate or false statements, at what point do you start considering them false? Or what mechanism is there are you thinking of for catching?
Somebody signs off on something, it's actually true, but who's going to know? Eventually, well, if you've only got a small number of people signing off on it, then hopefully the reader would be intelligent enough not to trust it too much. And the system could help them along by saying, there's only this many people. Generally speaking, that's not enough to consider it very reliable, especially if it's in some sort of category where facts usually get checked out by lots and lots of people. And so if that fact has had less review than its neighbors, then it would not be as trusted. And then once more people do look into it and investigate it for themselves, then there will be the conflict of, I've investigated this and I sign off that it's false. And as as more and more people investigate it, it's less and less likely that all of them will be involved in a conspiracy to defraud the public, because the more people you get, they're basically defrauding themselves, which could be a problem, I suppose, in terms of wishful thinking.
Especially in the context of Wikipedia Pro, even in the code distribution, it just may become, at a point, a matter of taste or opinion.
Sure. Yeah, differing opinions. And in terms of code distribution, there's also the problem of, all right, now how do you support 50,000 slightly different versions? So, not saying it's a good idea, it's just an idea. For code especially, it would probably work better on a small scale within the core developer community rather than the public at large.
How about edits on something that's already been ranked by 200 people or whatever?
Then, yeah, if you've got something that's already established with its own reputation behind it, somebody comes along and suggests a change, that change, I would say, should have its own independent reputation.
Let's go into a rating.
Sure. Yeah. And then the same people who have investigated the original, they see this change, they may investigate that as well and help it gain the same reputation. Ticket, ticket, ticket. All right. I guess that's it then. Wow, I'm way under time, sorry.
You have all handwritten image scripts and stuff?
Yes. Yeah, if you're interested about that, I could go on and on about how I've set up my system.
Tell them about /fs.
/fs. /fs is the way I organize my file systems, based around the idea that physical storage need not have anything to do with the name you access a file by. I am way into symlinks, and so I deliberately make my physical mount points obscure. And so there's no expectation that they should be pretty, and then I am free to make my symlinks as pretty as possible. And I even make my root file system tempfs. It's all in RAM, and so I can just, even if all my disks are mounted read-only, I can still just swap my symlinks around to redefine the meaning of any path I need to. It's a good time.
Even though there's not many of you in here, just want to make a note that we're checking the garage right now. We've had another car broken into. And at this point, I'm looking to hire security because the hotel is too incompetent to do that, protect your cars on my dime. So I'm going to hopefully get some security in here to patrol that garage specifically tonight. As soon as I can get that set up, if you want to help us defray the cost, let me know.
Hey, do you need volunteers for it?
Well, I'm just calling some security agency. I was thinking about doing that, but I don't want to put anybody
I'll
legally.
volunteer for an hour.
Well, I mean, if you want to help monitor the garage tonight, that's cool. What was your question? It was a kind of candy. Break open his window and steal his radio.
Yeah, it was our friend.
Yeah.
We came with them.
No, there's another guy.
Another guy?
Just now. Yep, my wife found his car right next to hers. So, yeah.
I'll talk to you later about volunteering.
All right.
For it.